helped Jesus carry that cross was a black man. And don't ever forget another thing. Jesus belongs to Africa as much as he does to Europe and Asia. He was born in that part of the world that touches Africa and Asia and Europe, and Jesus was not a white man like me.
The truth has been revealed.
The real Messiah wasn't European. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's factual. He was not European. He was Hebrew. Scripture and history both confirm that Yahusha, some people call him Jesus, was a Hebrew man from the lineage of David, born in Bethlehem, raised in Nazareth, both in the Middle East, not Europe. Didn't come from Europe. It is evident that our Master sprang out of Judah. It even tells you that in Hebrews 7:14. Tells you where he's from. Wasn't from Europe. Judah, Yehudah, was one of the 12 tribes of Israel, a Semitic people of the region now known as ancient Palestine. There is no biblical or historical basis for the blonde-haired, blue-eyed European image of Jesus. None whatsoever. That was spread through Western art and religion. Caesar Borgia. How the white Savior image was created. After the Roman Empire adopted Christianity under Constantine, 4th century CE, the faith of the early Hebrew followers of Yahusha was absorbed into political religion. So for all you folks that have got doubts, and I know there's hundreds of thousands of you all that do, right here is where it all started going downhill. Rome replaced Hebrew identity with European imagery. Let me say that again. Rome replaced Hebrew identity with European, go study that, imagery. The Messiah's Hebrew name, Yahusha, was changed to a Greek-Latin hybrid. Jesus.
And don't you black people ever forget one thing. The man that helped Jesus carry that cross was a black man. And don't ever forget another thing. Jesus belongs to Africa as much as he does to Europe and Asia. He was born in that part of the world that touches Africa and Asia and Europe, and Jesus was not a white man like me.
The truth has been revealed.
The real Messiah wasn't European. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's factual. He was not European. He was Hebrew. Scripture and history both confirm that Yahusha, some people call him Jesus, was a Hebrew man from the lineage of David, born in Bethlehem, raised in Nazareth, both in the Middle East, not Europe. Didn't come from Europe. It is evident that our Master sprang out of Judah. It even tells you that in Hebrews 7:14. Tells you where he's from. Wasn't from Europe. Judah, Yehudah, was one of the 12 tribes of Israel, a Semitic people of the region now known as ancient Palestine. There is no biblical or historical basis for the blonde-haired, blue-eyed European image of Jesus. None whatsoever. That was spread through Western art and religion. Caesar Borgia. How the white Savior image was created. After the Roman Empire adopted Christianity under Constantine, 4th century CE, the faith of the early Hebrew followers of Yahusha was absorbed into political religion. So for all you folks that have got doubts, and I know there's hundreds of thousands of you all that do, right here is where it all started going downhill. Rome replaced Hebrew identity with European imagery.
And don't you black people ever forget one thing. The man that helped Jesus carry that cross was a black man. And don't ever forget another thing. Jesus belongs to Africa as much as he does to Europe and Asia. He was born in that part of the world that touches Africa and Asia and Europe, and Jesus was not a white man like me.
The truth has been revealed.
The real Messiah wasn't European. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's factual. He was not European. He was Hebrew. Scripture and history both confirm that Yahusha, some people call him Jesus, was a Hebrew man from the lineage of David, born in Bethlehem, raised in Nazareth, both in the Middle East, not Europe. Didn't come from Europe. It is evident that our master sprang out of Judah. It even tells you that in Hebrews 7:14. Tells you where he's from. Wasn't from Europe. Judah, Yehudah, was one of the 12 tribes of Israel, a Semitic people of the region now known as ancient Palestine. There is no biblical or historical basis for the blonde-haired, blue-eyed European image of Jesus. None whatsoever. That was spread through Western art and religion. Caesar Borgia. How the white Savior image was created. After the Roman Empire adopted Christianity under Constantine, 4th century CE, the faith of the early Hebrew followers of Yahusha was absorbed into political religion. So for all you folks that have got doubts, and I know there's hundreds of thousands of you all that do, right here is where it all started going downhill. Rome replaced Hebrew identity with European imagery. Let me say that again. Rome replaced Hebrew identity with European, go study that, imagery. The Messiah's Hebrew name, Yahusha, was changed to a Greek-Latin hybrid. Jesus, Jesus. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo painted him in their own likeness, white, European, and Western looking. These images were then used by colonizing powers. If you don't know what colonizing is, you need to go study it. It will be well worth your time. Spain, Britain, and Portugal, etc., to justify conquest and conversion, teaching the colonized world. Now you've got to get a hold of this. Teaching the colonized world of a Savior who looked just like their oppressors. This became religious propaganda. That's what you've been worshiping. A tool to make conquered people feel spiritually inferior and dependent on European deliverance. There's a message within this message. You just got to be able to see it. The deeper agenda: control, not covenant. Religion has nothing to do with covenant relationship with the Father.
This comment makes me giggle. You know why? Because it doesn't really matter what skin color he was. Because we're all the same race. Just saying. I love you. And God loves you. Don't ever forget that.
Recently, one of my supposed sisters in Christ left a comment on one of my videos saying that she didn't know how I could believe that God could make Jesus born of a virgin and not believe that God could make him white. To be clear, I absolutely believe that God could make him white. God could have made him purple, but he didn't. And I can tell you how I know that. Because if you do believe what the Bible says, and I do, the Bible doesn't tell us a lot about what Jesus looked like. In fact, we can infer more about what he looked like probably by what the Bible doesn't say. The book of Isaiah, which includes the prophecy of Jesus' coming, said that he would not be attractive or majestic or have anything special about him that would draw people to him based on his physical appearance. But in all four of the Gospels, there's no physical description of what Jesus actually looked like. Because he was Jewish, it's believed that he looked like other Jewish people at the time, with dark hair and dark eyes. And yes, brown skin. Throughout the Bible, physical characteristics of different characters are described. Goliath was a giant. Esau was red and hairy. Many different people in the Bible were likely of African descent and were black. But that isn't discussed in the Bible because it's not what's important. The Bible doesn't classify people by race, but it does classify them by ethnicity, nationality, and lineage. Beauty is discussed in the Bible, and there are many different people throughout the Bible that are described as beautiful. Jesus was not one of those. He wasn't described as ugly either, and most Bible scholars would say that he was likely just plain. And so the reason that I know that Jesus wasn't white, when a person's physical characteristics are different or unique or make them stand out in some way, the Bible does discuss those physical characteristics. None of that's discussed with Jesus. If Jesus were white, the Bible would tell us that. There would be some evidence of that somewhere other than in the minds of Christian nationalists in America. Jesus was brown, and he was also an immigrant and poor. If you believe the Bible, you have to believe that Jesus wasn't white.
So guys, you know what's actually interesting? People say they want historical accuracy until historical accuracy challenges something they've grown comfortable with. And nowhere is that more obvious than the conversation surrounding Jesus. Because let's be honest, nobody gets angry when historians tell us Cleopatra probably didn't look like Elizabeth Taylor. Nobody loses sleep when archaeologists tell us ancient Egyptians weren't exactly what Hollywood portrayed them to be. People accept that. But when it comes to Jesus, suddenly emotions run high. And I think that's because this conversation is not just about history. It's about identity, memory, power, and who gets to shape the imagination of billions of people. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Please subscribe and let's continue watching, and then I'll be back with more commentary. Full credit to the original creators of these videos. Thank you.
Hey everyone, Pastor Laura here with your weekly, daily, monthly reminder that Jesus is not white. Jesus is a brown Middle Eastern man. Also, none of the characters in the Bible are white. They are black and brown Middle Eastern and African people. So, yeah, that's some white supremacy bullshit you've been taught. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I think people are in for a very rude awakening for when Jesus returns and he's not white. Let's talk about it. This is actually a question I was talking to my parents about yesterday while we've been talking about racism and like currently not talking to my brothers. I actually don't plan on having any contact with them. Like a whole different story for another time. This, I was like, Dad.
I want to talk about her brothers, because it is racist. That's what she meant.
I've been talking about racism and like currently not talking to my brothers. I actually don't plan on having any contact with them. Like a whole different story for another time. This, I was like, Dad, you know that Jesus ain't white. He's not. Take Jesus or Christianity out of the picture. Still just treat every freaking human being equally. We're all human. Like why? And it's crazy because like when you confront them about it, they're like, I do. But I'm like, yeah, you're calling all Mexicans. Dad, well, I don't see the issue with this. That's the issue. That is the issue. It's crazy to me how many like Christians specifically, like even on Easter or whatever, like whenever they're posting white Jesus, I'm always like, y'all. I don't think they want to know, and I don't think they want to be offended now, so they just like are in their own little bubble. I don't really know how they read the Bible and get white Jesus. I just know he's gonna split that sky and come down, and it's gonna be like, what? Not to get all biblical on y'all, but like, hi, great falling away. Hello. I don't know what people expect. Or when Jesus says, get away from me, I never even knew you. I don't know what they expect when they read that. Or like, not everyone that says, Lord, Lord will enter. Like, what do they expect? Like, that just like, it makes no sense to me. It's like, you can't even see that you are just like the Pharisees, the very people that like freaking stoned Jesus on the cross. Like, you're no better than them. I like actually do not believe that there would be a difference between the Pharisees and you. I really.
So what do you say to white Jesus when Jerusalem is in the middle of the Middle East? You know, Bethlehem, we already know the locations of those. When they say Jesus is of pale skin and, you know, when you hear the other side, woolly hair, what are your thoughts what they taught us as, you know, slaves of what Jesus to look like, and then go from there where we look at Jesus
was an African. We know this because prior to the Council of Nicaea, 325 AD, Emperor Constantine, that's when Jesus was made the Son of God. He was not universally considered the Son of God before 325. And that's when discontinued the truth of his Ethiopian lineage. Prior to 325, when they said Jesus was born in a manger in Bethlehem, it was widely known that Jesus was born in a cave in Ethiopia. Jesus is black. Every coin and statue of Christ prior to the rise of white supremacy has him as black. The oldest painting of Jesus, which I think is in the Cairo Museum, I have a picture of it, a replica of it. He's black, and all 12 of the disciples is black. Y'all saw the president of Russia, Putin. He went down into the Vatican, not the Vatican, but the cathedral in Russia, and showed you all the black images of Christ and the disciples. Remember now, the word Christ, Christos, which is a word that speaks of the soul that rises within. Christ is a title. In ancient African culture, you could not be called a Christ if your son was not black, if your skin was not black. Because the melanin, the chemical, not color, it's power, it's energy. The melanin is what gives you the ability to access higher levels of spiritual consciousness in the first place. So you had to be dark to be a Christ, because the darker your skin, the greater your spiritual propensity to reach higher levels of spiritual reality.
I believe Jesus Christ was black, and the mainstream is trying to hide that information. And here are the verses that lead me to believe that he was black. This is Revelation chapter 1, verses 13 through. This is John speaking. John was an apostle of Jesus Christ, and he's having a vision on an island, okay? And he's saying, and in the middle of the lampstands, I saw one like a son of man, clothed in a robe reaching to the feet and girt across his chest with a golden sash. His head and his hair were white, like white wool, like snow, and his eyes were like a flame of fire, and his feet were like burnished bronze. The reason why I think Jesus is black is because of this part, burnished bronze. This is a brown color. Let me show you. This is burnished bronze, as you can see on Google. You can Google this yourself. This is a black person. Now, some people will be like, oh, well, John's just having a vision. Doesn't mean it's actually what it was. But you know that God is giving John the vision, right? God is allowing John to see all this stuff, the future, to see Christ. And God showed him Christ as a burnished bronze colored man. Okay, so that's what he looks like. Now, if you're already triggered by this video and you find yourself saying, nah, Jesus was not black, and don't you say that he was. If that's how you feel, then possibly there's a deeper and darker, pun intended, issue within you that you need to check. John continues, this is chapter 4 of Revelation. Immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was standing in heaven, and one sitting on the throne. And he who was sitting was like a jasper stone and a sardius in appearance. Sardius is a reddish brown. This is a dedicated red, brown, dark tan color. Is there any historical backing for Jesus being black outside of the Bible? Well, there's certainly a lot of artwork that depicts Jesus as black. This is a painting from 1797 in Russia of a black Jesus. And some people might be like, oh, well, maybe they just didn't have the skin color for white. Well, look at the halo. The halo is certainly light colored. They could have painted Jesus white if they wanted to, but they didn't. They didn't. Why would they do that? Because Jesus is probably actually black. This is a 1497 painting in Russia. Look at these apostles. These are the disciples. Black men with afros. Afro, 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 all over. Jesus, the Messiah, as a black man with an afro. These are white Russians painting black, a black Jesus and black disciples. So you got to ask yourself, why are they doing this? Are they doing this because they just love black people so much? Or are they just trying to be accurate? I could do this all day, really. There's all kinds of old school artwork of black Jesus, black disciples, black Mary, black angels, black saints, all kinds of stuff. And some of you guys may be saying, oh, well, what does it matter? It just doesn't matter. It's not a salvation issue. It doesn't matter what his color is. It does matter. It mattered enough for the mainstream and the matrix to change his skin color, so it matters to know the truth. If Jesus turns out his skin color was turquoise, I want to know that. Why? Because I want to know the truth. If it turned out that he was translucent, I want to know that he was translucent. If it turned out that he was factually and historically white, I want to know that, and I would accept. But it seems like we're being lied to about Jesus being black. And I got all kinds of stuff to say about, being black.
In 1706, a 22-year-old woman was burned at the stake in the Kingdom of Congo. Her crime was telling people that Jesus was African, that the Christianity their own kings had chosen had been claimed by colonizers as their own, that the images of a white Christ hanging in their churches was a lie. Her name was Kempavita, and what she started before she died planted the seeds of African liberation theology and Pan-Africanism 2 centuries before either of those terms existed. Born in 1684 in the Kingdom of Congo, spanning what is now Angola, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the Republic of Congo, their own kings had chosen Christianity in the late 1400s. By the time Kempavita was born, the Congolese elite had been Catholic for nearly 2 centuries. But the kingdom she was born in wasn't the kingdom her grandparents knew. In 1665, the Portuguese defeated the Congo army at the Battle of Mambila. The king was killed. His heir was captured and sent to Brazil to be enslaved. The capital was abandoned. 3 royal factions spent the next 40 years tearing the country apart. Every battle produced captives. Every captive could be sold. The people enslaved from Congo crossed the Atlantic in larger numbers than from almost any other part of the country. This is the world that she was born into. She came from a noble family and was trained as a spiritual mediator. In August 1704, she became gravely ill. 7 days of fever and visions. She believed she died and came back. When she recovered, she said God had commissioned her to preach. Now, what she preached was radical. The white-faced Jesus in their churches wasn't real. Jesus was born in Mbanza, Congo, their own capital. The saints were African too. She rewrote a Catholic prayer into an anthem for her movement, teaching that God cared about intention, not ritual, not baptism, not the sacraments the Portuguese missionaries sold to them. She said that the civil wars were punishment for abandoning their own identity, that the kingdom would only be restored when the people reclaimed who they were. Nobles joined her. Armies protected her followers. She occupied the abandoned capital, and people streamed in from across the country. The Capuchin missionaries understood exactly what she was doing. She wasn't rejecting Christianity, she was taking it back, stripping it of European ownership and returning it to African hands. That was more dangerous than rejection. So they had her arrested, tried on charges of witchcraft and heresy. She accepted her sentence calmly, July 2nd, 1706. At just 22 years old, she was burned at the stake. The movement outlasted her. 2 centuries later, scholars identified her as a direct forerunner of liberation theology and Pan-Africanism. Congolese religious art began depicting Jesus as African. Crucifixes and sacred objects made across the 18th and 19th centuries showing Christ as a Congolese man. All of that from a woman who had looked at what colonialism had done to her people's spiritual life and said, "This doesn't belong to you." She said it once, loudly enough that they killed her for it. And it echoed for 300 years. Say her name, Kimba.
This is how Jesus would have actually looked. The reason we know this is how he looks is because the Bible tells us how he looks. He was an ordinary man with ordinary features that didn't have any beauty and didn't have any features to attract us. He would have only been around 5'1" to 5'5". We know this because going back, the average male from those times was between 5'1" and 5'5". So as a Christian, I'm asking you, if you saw this guy walking around right now and he said to you, "Bow down, worship me, I am the Son of God," what would you do?
I just want to interrupt everyone's Thanksgiving to say something that most white people are not ready to hear. I believe God is a black woman. If you think that I'm crazy after hearing that, you've probably never heard of mitochondrial Eve. Mitochondrial Eve was not the first human, she was not the first woman, and she was not the only woman alive at that time. She is the most recent common ancestor of every living human right now. It's believed that she lived near the Kalahari Desert in southern Africa. And there's actually tons of genetic evidence that support human life originated in Africa and we left in migrations populating the world. I always find it offensive that in school I was taught I evolved from a monkey. And knowing that that is one of the most racist things that a lot of white people say about black people in general. Knowing that there is so much genetic evidence that supports that every human life is only here because of one black human. So why would being taught that we come from a monkey? Why is the entire white race so afraid of black women knowing who they truly are? Because see, the mitochondrial DNA that make up the Eve gene, that give it all variations possible to create human life of any kind, black women hold that. Only black women hold that. It's not a beauty standard or an ethical standard or a cultural thing. It is a genetic superiority to all people, not just white people. Black women are genetically superior than everyone. How could you convince me that God of this universe is anything other than a beautiful black woman?
Jesus wasn't a white European, okay? It's Jesus of Nazareth, not Jesus of Newcastle. Do you think the 3 wise men popped into Waitrose on their way to the manger? I think Mary got a cheeky Greggs on her way to the stable. They didn't eat pork either, so I would recommend the vegan sausage roll. Then afterwards she grabbed a meal deal, popped herself on a donkey and trotted up the M6. Do you think Jesus gave the Sermon on the Mount in a Brummie accent? Do you think Matthew, Mark, Peter and John were their real names? You don't worship Jesus, you worship race. Someone told me once that the reason why Christian nationalists think that Christianity is for white people is because they've made Jesus appear white, even though he's brown. And that's because they can't fathom the idea of worshipping a man who is brown-skinned. And I think she had a really good point. Jesus is a brown man. His mother wore a headscarf. If he came back today with no paperwork, no passport, I don't think any European country would.
Look up the skin color of where Jesus is Middle Easterns. They are brown. Beautifully brown, but they are not white. So I don't really know where that came from, and I'm not saying that whoever decided to do that is racist. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we really need to understand history. And I always wondered why we had little white Jesuses up, like in grandma's houses, at churches, you know, just anywhere. Like you would buy something somewhere that would be a depiction of Jesus, and he was always white. And I'm like, Jesus ain't white. If that hurts your feelings, I'm sorry. Maybe you need to check your heart. But he's brown.
In my last video, I explained why I believe that God is a black woman, and I want to take this even further. We went over race and we went over gender, that if God had a face, an image, she would be a black woman, not a white man, which is how the entire world actually portrays God. So everyone is bowing down and praying to the anti-God, the opposite of God, the absence of God, and this is really important to know. That's why all of these religions all over the planet were created to cast a spell over people so that they never actually pray to the right God. They're praying to the opposite of who she is. I want to take this idea a little bit further because I am not religious. I'm very anti-religion. I deconstructed the religion I was born into a very long time ago. I do study quantum physics though, and it further proves my theory that God is a black woman. In quantum physics, all realities are birthed through the void. Okay, so it's like a giant plane. You can actually enter the void as soon as you close your eyes. The void is where all existence, all possibilities, all ideas are birthed out of. It's tries to beat God down, tries to remove her power. So
now guys, here is what fascinates me. For centuries, European art has dominated Christianity. And because European powers dominated much of the world, their images dominated too. Their paintings, their statues, their churches, their interpretations, and eventually many people began to mistake art for history. Just think about that. Art became memory. Memory became tradition, and tradition became unquestionable. But what happens when people start asking questions? Not because they hate Christianity or because they hate white people, but because they want to understand history. That's where things become uncomfortable, because uncomfortable questions force us to examine comfortable assumptions. And I think that's why so many black Christians and African Christians have become interested in those conversations. Not because they are trying to steal Jesus or because they are trying to replace one racial superiority with another, but because for centuries, black people were often told that holiness looked European, beauty looked European, civilization looked European, even God looked European. And eventually people started asking, wait a minute, who decided that? What was that, history or was that power? Because power has always shaped narratives, always. Empires shape narratives. Victors shape narratives. Colonizers shape narratives. And religion has often been used as a vehicle for those narratives. Not Christianity itself, but people. People used Christianity to justify slavery. People used Christianity to justify segregation. People used Christianity to justify colonialism. And if human beings are capable of twisting God's words, why should we assume they were incapable of shaping God's image? That's a legitimate question, not a hateful one. a legitimate one. Now, here's where things get fascinating. Every culture has imagined Jesus through familiar eyes. Ethiopian Christians painted Ethiopian-looking Jesuses. Chinese Christians painted Chinese-looking Jesuses. European Christians painted European-looking Jesuses. And maybe that says something profound about humanity. People naturally want to see themselves in sacred stories, not because they hate others, but because they want to feel included. Because representation isn't always about superiority. Sometimes it's about belonging. And maybe that's why this issue means so much to very many people. Nobody wants to feel spiritually invisible. Nobody wants to feel that God belongs to somebody else. And perhaps that's why figures like Kim Pavita became so significant, because she challenged the idea that Africans needed European approval to access Christ. Think about that. That was actually revolutionary and dangerous, because history shows us that whenever people challenge established narratives, somebody gets uncomfortable. But maybe discomfort isn't always bad. Maybe discomfort is how societies grow. Maybe discomfort is how hidden stories get uncovered. Maybe discomfort is how truth emerges. And honestly, that's why I think this conversation is not going away, because younger generations are asking questions too. Historians are asking questions. Christians are asking questions. And millions of ordinary people are asking, what really happened? Not because they want division, but because truth matters. And maybe that's what makes this discussion so powerful, because beneath all the arguments over skin color and paintings lies a much deeper question. Who gets to tell the story? And perhaps more importantly, who gets left out of it? What do you think, guys? Is this conversation about race, history, colonialism, identity, or perhaps all of the above? Just let me know in the comments. Just tell us what you think. Thank you very much for watching. Enable notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Slowly, Jeremiah 38, verse 9. My Lord the King.
And so I went downtown just browsing around. Yeah, not necessarily shopping, but just hanging on my own. And so I looked into a window and I saw a pair of shoes that fits my style. But also in the store is a woman with a pose and a wicked smile. Right there I knew I had to leave. Before everything goes wrong, I knew I had to run. Before I find myself in love, back there down the road. I got problems I think out, and I but look for this woman. Yeah. I know here comes another one. Hey. La 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 la. So I went downtown just browsing around. Yeah, not necessarily shopping, but just hanging on my own. And so I looked into a window and I saw a pair of shoes that fits my style. But also in the store is a woman with a pose and a wicked smile. Right there I knew I had to leave. Before everything goes wrong, I knew I had to run. Before I find myself in love, back there down the road. I got problems I think out, and by the look of this woman, yeah, I know here comes another one. Hey, la 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 la. Hey. They don't keep it to themselves, they throw it at you. And so I went to a party and I found myself in the middle of things. By the way, this cutie came up and asked me, are you the one that sings? Couldn't let temptation hold me, I had to leave. Before everything went wrong, I had to run. Before I find myself in love, come back down the road. I got problems I can't count, and I've a look of this woman, yeah. I know here comes another one, yeah. La 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 la. La 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 la. One again. La 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 la. One. La 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 la. Sing. All I know for me, this was a good day. Hey, I met up with temptation, but then I turned the other way. And I'm so very sorry that my woman wasn't here, cause then she could see the day-to-day distractions that confronts a man like me. I bet she doesn't know the times I had to leave. Before everything go wrong, I knew I had to run. Before I find myself in love. So I went downtown just browsing around. Yeah, not necessarily shopping, like just hanging on my own. And so I looked into a window and I saw a pair of shoes that fits my style. But also in the store is a woman with a pose and a wicked smile. Right there I knew I had to leave. Before everything go wrong, I knew I had to run. Before I find myself in love, back there down the road. I got problems I can't count, and by the look of this woman, yeah, I know here comes another one. Hey, la 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 la. Hey, la 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 la. Now when the beauties are so much, what am I supposed to do? They don't keep it to themselves, they throw it at you. And so I went to a party and I found myself in the middle of things. By the way, this cutie came up and asked me, are you the one that sings? Couldn't let temptation hold me, I had to leave. Before everything went wrong, I had to run. Before I find myself in love, cut back down the road. I got problems I can't count, and I've a look of this woman, yeah. I know here comes another one, yeah. La 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 la. La 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 la. One again. La 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 la. One. La 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 la. Sing. All I know for me, it was a good day. Hey, I met up with temptation, but then I turned the other way. And I'm so very sorry that my woman wasn't here, cause then she could see the day-to-day distractions that confronts a man like me. I bet she doesn't know the times I had to leave. Before everything go wrong, I knew I had to run. Before I find myself in love, back there down the road. I got problems I can't count, and by the look of this woman, I know here comes another one.
Things can't be bad. No. Come on, let me see you smile again. Look pretty again for me, girl. Can we sit down and talk about it? Don't see no reason why we can't.
Mary, Mary, my contrary. You don't look so good tonight. Hands at your jaw. Something just ain't right. Hair looking shabby, never seen at a place. Something must be wrong. Bear with me while I sing you this song. We ain't doing it right. No need to up and fight. He won't come home tonight. When you keep believing lies. No, things ain't right. So you need to sit and bite. Trying hard to keep it tight. Mary, quack and cherry ways. The happy girl I used to know. Smile like the sun, joy every place you go. Come tell me about your problems, don't keep it to yourself. Remember I'm your friend. I linger for a while and try to make you understand. First, loosen up, let's sit and chat. I hate to see you looking like that. Though I know it isn't easy, but it's not the end of the world. Take the load off your shoulder. Can you do this for me? My dear Mary, don't do that to yourself. My dear Mary, don't get worried, it's just a part of the play. You start it up again at the end of the day. After all, it's not so bad, things could be worse. Give me that smile, girl, now send him the rose. He ain't doing right, no need to up and fight. Still won't come home tonight. When you keep believing lies, no, things ain't right. So you need to sit and bite, trying hard to keep it tight. Loosen up, let's sit and chat. I hate to see you looking like that. Though I know it isn't easy, but it's not the end of the world. Take the load off your shoulder. Can you do this for me? My Mary, don't do this to yourself. My dear Mary, can you do this for me? Smile, no need to smile. He won't go home tonight. When you keep believing lies to me, no, smile. So you need to sit and bite. Try not to keep it tight.
Let him scream.
Those were the days when love used to reign. Hey. We danced all night to the songs they played. We can come again, do it just the same. Hey. Now I feel it in my heart. We in such a golden time at the party. Now there's hardly any safe place left to go. Someone's bound to come and try to spoil the show. Oh, oh, oh. Remember the songs that used to make you rock away. Those were the days when love used to reign. Hey. We danced all night to the songs they played. We can come again. We do it just the same. Hey, hey, John Old Johnson, Ellis, Delroy Wilson, Dennis Brown. Hey, hey, we you, Josie Wells, that a Roy would wake the town. Yeah, and you had to hold your woman real close when Smokey starts to sing. Temptations, Marvin Gaye, Spinners of the Way, Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle used to make me drift away. Play Stevie Play, Samuel Denny Play. Hey, we dance all night to the songs they play. We can come again, do it just the same. Hey, right now we need a brand new start. People everywhere need more music from the heart. And if there remains such a place that I can go, will someone tell me, I'd love to know. Oh, oh, oh. Remember the songs that used to make you rock away. Those were the days when love used to reign. Yeah. Dance all night to the songs they play. We can come again, do it just the same. Yeah. Remember the songs that used to rock away. Those were the days. Maybe every now and then, you and I should get together, pack a little bag, and just run away. Yeah, just run away to a place, yeah, where no one knows our name. Play the game nature wants us to play. Yeah. So how about Mexico? Yeah, a little beach in Acapulco, where the cool wind blows. Feel the sand in your toes, serenaded by the sound of a sweet Spanish guitar, where the couple next to you don't even know who you are. Sounds like heaven to me, I can almost feel, yes. No more promises, let's do it for real. Think about it real good. Come on, let's do it. Put everything aside, everything is good. While we can do it, baby. What's the use in going through life when you take no time to live? No, take no time to live. What it is going to work and then straight back home again. Time for a change, but darling, when, oh, when, oh, when. How about you and I together, pack a little back to Blue Mountain? Here we come, embrace your rising sun, where the birds are always singing the sweetest melodies, rippling strings, and the coolest little breeze. Sounds like heaven to me, I can almost feel it. No more promises, let's do ourselves a deal. Think about it real good. Come on, let's do it, baby. Let's put everything aside. Do it while we can. Do it, baby. Pack a little bag and just run away. Yeah, just run away to a place where no one knows or anything. Play the game that you want us to play. So how about Mexico? Yeah, a little Acapulco, where the cool wind blows. Feel the sand in your toes, serenaded by the sound of sweet Spanish guitar. Where the couple next to you don't even know who you are. Sounds like heaven to me. I can almost feel, yes. No more promises, let's do it for real. Think about it real good. Come on, let's do it. And put everything aside, everything is good. While we can do it, baby. What's the use in going through life when you take no time to live? No, take no time to live. What it is going to work and then straight back home again. Time for a change, but darling, well. How about you and I together, pack a little back to Blue Mountain? Here we come, embrace your rising sun, where the birds are always singing the sweetest melodies, rippling strings, and the coolest little breeze. Sounds like heaven to me, I can almost feel it. No more promises, let's do ourselves a deal. Think about it real good. Come on, let's do it, baby. Put everything aside, do it while we can do it, baby. Embrace your rising sun, where the birds are always singing the sweetest melodies, rippling strings, and the coolest little breeze. Sounds like I can tell you a story about what one dance can do, what one dance can do, one dance can do, one dance can do. Listen that. After one dance on the floor, she came back wanting for more. I don't know what it is that I've got. She whispered, so nice, so nice. But her man is sitting across the way. He could hear the things I say. Now we watch it from the corner of his eyes. So a move like this would be so wise. You're standing in my way. Standing in my way. You could see she was more than ready to make the move with me anytime. Not even thinking of the consequences, oh no. So I had to think quickly. Cause her man's face was looking oh so mean. As if any time he could create a scene. So gently I pushed her away. He wants to spoil the play. He's standing in my way. He's standing in my way. Whoa. Now I understand how he feels, but I wish you'd give me a little room. I know he's got himself a rodeo, but I'd like to live with this lady too. I didn't mean to be so unkind, but I had nothing to do. One was looking fine. Big Fender he was, after having his own way. Thought he'd leave, but he stayed true. Still standing in my way. Yeah. Standing in my way. Yeah. Standing in my way. Ooh. Standing in my way. Standing in my way. That's what one man can do. Standing in my way. One man can do. Standing in my way.
He's let's sing with you. Just to see what he would do. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo. One dance, just want to. 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 Just one dance,
Good God, I'm in charge.
Well, that's all we've got room for right here. But if you'd like to hear a little bit more, we did record a little bit more, and you can get that on BBC Sat.
No, thanks, I'm alright. I'm just seeing what you're doing. I'm just seeing what you're doing.
Stuck on you. Got a feeling down deep in the soul that I just can't. Girl, I'm on my way. I needed a friend, and the way I feel now, I guess I'll be with you to the end. Girl, I'm on my way. Body never stay. Soul that I just can't lose. Girl, I'm on my way. I needed a friend, and the way I feel now, I guess I'll be with you to the end. Girl, I'm on my way. Body never stay. Stuck on you. I've been a fool too long. I guess it's time for me to come on. Girl, I'm on my way. So hard to see how a woman like you can wait around for a man like me. Girl, I'm on my way. Body never stay. I'm coming home to stay. I'm stuck on you. Got a feeling down deep in my soul that I just can't lose. Girl, I'm on my way. I needed a friend, and the way I feel now, I guess I'll be with you to the end. Girl, I'm on my way. I just have to stay. I'm coming home to stay. I'm stuck on you. I've got a feeling down deep in my soul that I just can't lose. Girl, I'm on my way. I needed a friend, and the way I feel now, I guess I'll be with you to the end. Girl, I'm on my way. I don't have to stay.
was even better than I know. So what the tambourine, and the bosom, that time I was well happy then. And the tambourine sisters come out, trust it done. What about sound and vibration? What about? That's when nature comes in there. The vibration there, the Hebrew, they're just going crazy. It's as equal as let there be light. It's as equal as let there be light. Spoken in Hebrew though. You can't say it in English. Nothing like that. There'll be no light. You say in Hebrew though. Everything is Hebrew. Everything is Hebrew. How it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Right? Whether we like it or not. Whether we like it or not. So it was in the beginning, so it shall be in the end. When is the end? He questions confusingly. How long is a piece of string? Grandma asks. And next grandma says, just take the broom and sweep the room. Damn fool. I know. Why don't you ask Satan? Better still, why don't you ask his children, modern Israel? Or why don't you just get ready and prepare for the Antichrist? Because remember, remember, to every original, there's always a carbon copy. Now, so if Emmanuel, who you call Jesus, is the original, then there's got to be a carbon copy. And this is called the Antichrist. And this is what they're getting ready for. Remember the 7 years? But it's really 3.5. Damn tramp. And you still can't see it yet. Why can't you see it? Why? We still can't see it. Resta. I have no idea, miss. We still can't see it. You're still doing that dirty nonsense in it. And that instant foolishness in it. Resta. I have no idea. I'm innocent, I'm sexy, I'm British, I'm something for you to deal with. This one's for Gentiles though. When I've coloured it in, I'll read it before I send it out. This comes in 2 parts. This is part 1. Part 2 I'll have to do tomorrow because it's a lot of writing and a lot of truth. I'm going to make a video, excuse me, of it as well. Season of truth in it. Mate, he don't like truth in it. He built his ministry with no truth. So now we're giving you truth and it's crumbling like a house of cards. Just, alright, domino effect then. Call it whatever you want, it's crumbling now. What about building a house here on weak foundation? What about building a house on putty? There it is, Father, like you say. Building a house on putty. Why is it putty? Because it's Father's ground and he didn't appoint you. That's the word he uses. I didn't appoint you, right, to go and give yourself land, right, and then put the joy on your face when you got that land. I didn't appoint it to you, did I? To take the joy off your face. And that's what it says in the book. Did I give you joy on your face? For you to appoint yourself land. That's what it says. To appoint yourself land. Now, go and ask grandma, oh yeah, you haven't got one, have you? We'll go and ask the king and the queen, oh you haven't got one, have you? Go and ask the emperor, oh you haven't got one. Well, the rules go like this. When you is a naughty boy, grandma and grandpa, them smack you, right? But you got rid of grandma, or you didn't, you just put them away, but we're taking them back out. And now you're getting beatings, and you can't hide behind the woman, because she just pushes you at the side and says, you take care of it, you're the man. You wear the trousers, didn't you? We'll take the dress off then and put the trousers back on. You damn clown. I have no idea, miss. It's a damn clown. Proper idiot.
The first time I laid eyes with you, you teased and said I'm untrue. Why? Yet deep in my heart I knew I was in love with you. embrace me, girl. Boy, caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. You never ever go away. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. Ooh, a man in my position can't afford to look ridiculous. Oh no. You insult my intelligence, making me so furious. So caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. You never ever go astray. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. Make me feel like a $1 billion man. First time I laid eyes on you, you teased and said I'm untrue. Yet deep in my heart and you, I was in love with you. So caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. Never ever go away. Caress me, embrace me. Whoa, 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 whoa. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. Never ever go astray. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. Ooh. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. The first time I laid eyes with you, you teased and said I'm a Jew. Yet deep in my heart I knew I was in love with you. So caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. You'll never ever go astray. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. Whoa, man. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. You'll never ever go astray. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. Oh, man. A man in my position can't afford to look ridiculous. No. You insult my intelligence, making me furious. Whoa. So caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. You'll never ever go astray. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. Wow, caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. Make me feel like a $1 billion man. Yeah. Oh, caress me, girl. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The first time I laid eyes with you, you teased and said I'm a Jew. Yet deep in my heart I knew I was in love with you. So caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. You'll never ever go astray. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. Whoa, man. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. You'll never ever go astray. Caress me, girl, embrace me, girl. Oh, man. A man in my position Such my intentions and so embrace me, girl, embrace me, girl. You'll never ever go astray. Embrace me, girl, embrace me, girl. Wow, there, embrace me, girl, embrace me, girl. Let me feel like a piece without a man. Oh, embrace me, girl.
A day, 7 days a week, just peace. Oh, boy, you know how much people would give just for genuine peace inside, then you can bring it outside. If they ain't got peace inside, they ain't got peace at all. And fool. Just growing people like a robot, man. Growing people with no emotion. And if we show emotion, they want to say, yo, well, you want to give back the nostril, right? Because the nostril's got the root and the breath in it. And obviously you're too big for the breath in it. Give back the breath, you're trying. You want to come and disrespect humanity, and you're a human yourself. When Baba starts taking away these toys, savage, see how you're going to be so grateful just for the basics. Damn tramp.
The girl of mine. I'd like to thank you for waiting patiently. That is home. That is home to stay. How I've waited for this moment to be by your side. Your best friend Mona told me you had teardrops in your eyes. That is home. That is home to stay. You're my love, you're my angel, the girl of mine. I'd like to thank you for waiting patiently. That is home. That is home to stay. How I've waited for this moment to be by your side. Your best friend Mona told me you had teardrops in your eyes. That is home. That is home to stay. That is home to stay. It wasn't on a Monday. It wasn't on a Tuesday afternoon. I made a promise that you'll treasure. I'll make it back. I'll take it back to you. How I've waited for this moment to be by your side. Your best friend Mona told me you had teardrops in your eyes. That is home. That is home to stay. That is home to stay. treasure. I'll make it back. I'll take it back to you. How I've waited for this moment to be by your side. Your best friend Rhoda told me you had teardrops in your eyes. That is hope. That is hope to stay. 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 As I open up your letter, yeah, and glance at the first paragraph, I begin feeling much better. Lord knows. So I begin to laugh. He said, welcome home from your vacation, yeah. Meet you at the railway station. Welcome home from your vacation. I'm longing to see you again. As I open up my eyes, I see your face by surprise. And then I said to myself, yeah, I'm longing to see my very good friend. Welcome home from your vacation, yeah, I meet you at the rail. As I open up your letter, yeah, and glance at the first paragraph, I begin feeling much better. Lord knows. So I begin to laugh and say, welcome home from your vacation, yeah. Meet you at the railway station. Welcome home from your vacation. I'm longing to see you again. As I open up my eyes, I see your face by surprise. And then I said to myself, yeah, I'm longing to see my very good friend. Welcome home from your vacation, yeah, meet you at the railway station. Welcome home from your vacation. I'm longing to see you again. Welcome home. Now your roaming days are over. I haven't seen you for so long. Now you realize your worth. In my arms where you belong. Welcome your vacation. Welcome home once again. Welcome home from your vacation. You're my very, very closest friend. Welcome home. I've been missing you for so long. I hope you ain't doing no wrong. So many sleepless nights, yeah. I spent without you. I'm so glad, yeah.
There is a lot, bro. There's a lot. There's a lot. There is a hell of a lot. Do it again. Do it again. That's what I did.
As I was walking up your ladder, yeah, in glance at the first paragraph, I begin feeling much better, Lord knows. So I began to laugh and said, welcome home from your vacation, yeah, meet you at the railway station. Welcome home from your vacation. I'm longing to see you again. As I open up my eyes, I see your face by surprise. And then I said to myself, yeah, I'm longing to see my very good friend. Welcome home from your vacation. Yeah, I meet you at the railway station. Now, welcome home from your vacation. I'm longing to see you again. Welcome home. Now your roaming days are over. I haven't seen you for so long. Now you realize over in my arms where you belong. Welcome home from your vacation. Welcome home once again. Welcome home from your vacation. You're my very, very closest friend. Welcome home. I've been missing you so long. I hope you ain't doing no wrong. So many sleepless nights, yeah. I spent without you. I'm so glad, yeah.
Where is it over there? Still over there. I know, you get me working on that, didn't you? There is a lot. I didn't see that page. I didn't see that page, Baba. I didn't see that page, Dad. Another good boy. Let's do what you tell us to. Look at boy there. No, thanks for the money, yeah. Thank you for the money. Yeah, true. Thank you for the money. I don't even know what it is, you know. Right, let's put some British on. The British. Right. we are going to make a nice video, and the reading is not really good, guys, but we're going to do our best, because we need to really have a discussion on, thank you, that reads as well, intermingling. Don't understand the detrimental depth of Hebrew intermingling, and we need to discuss it and show you where it is. Because too many people think, we're Israelites, we can do this. This is why they're in these problems, and we're not getting in this problem because we're not making the mistakes that our ancestors made. Not at all. We're going by what the book says, not about it's going to hurt feelings. And this is Father we're dealing with, not dealing with people's feelings at all. That's what got us in this problem in the first place. And it'll be the children that get us out of it, not the adults. They get us killed, man. They get us killed. Trust me, they'll get us killed. Right, come on, I'm ready.
I'm on a Turkish adventure, combining my love of food with history. And in the country's southeast, the dishes echo the old spice routes, and the stories reach back to the dawn of civilization. Join me, Julie Lynn, for World's Ultimate Adventures. Watch on iPlayer.
I'm on an epic trip across America, marking 250 years since the Declaration of Independence. Taking
Trying to provoke
meeting the cowboys of
Iran.
Utah, seeing the ever.
I would like to say to the President, Mr. President, it would not be a wise move for you, because you're already $23 trillion in debt. And you don't have any money to prosecute a war. America's about to go to war. And when she goes to war, she wants black and brown bodies. Now you're useful. They don't give a doggone about how black lives matter until they want to use black lives to accomplish their wicked ends.
Hello guys, so every election cycle, every presidency, every administration, there's always another enemy, another country, another crisis, another reason why Americans are told they need to focus overseas. Meanwhile, people back home are struggling to pay rent. Groceries are expensive. Healthcare costs are insane. Young people are drowning in debt. And yet somehow, Washington always seems to find time for another foreign confrontation. And that's what Farrakhan was warning about when he spoke about Iran. In this case, his message to Donald Trump was simple. Don't do it. Don't drag America into another conflict. Don't send young Americans to die in another war. And seriously, that's a fair question. So guys, let's subscribe and continue watching, and then I'll be back with more commentary. Full credit to the original broadcasters of these footages. Thank you.
Witness that there is no God but He, and we thank Him in America for Allah's intervention in our affairs, in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the great Mahdi who came among us to start us in the process of being resurrected from a mental, moral, spiritual, economic, political, cultural, and social death, that we can stand before you today as Muslims. As our fathers, when they were brought out of Africa, many of them were already Muslims. But the enemies of Islam knew that if we kept our faith, they could never make us permanent slaves. So the aim of the enemy was to strip us of our names, our language, our culture, our history, our religion, our God, and grow us up in America with no knowledge of self, no knowledge of our origin in this world. But thanks for the coming of Master Fard Muhammad and raising up among us the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I can come before you today and say Assalamu alaikum, and my name is no longer the slave name that I once had. I didn't realize when my teacher named me Farrakhan that he was subtly connecting me to you.
Just to continue with you,
Because
you
when I
mentioned he does
came
do
to
a lot of
Iran,
podcasts and
the last
programs. He
time
says
I
yes
was
a lot. I hate to bring in the
I can't listen to that. No, it's just brainwash foolishness. The same guy, the same nation of Islam. What's his name? Elijah Muhammad, there it is the one who's telling the whole world that white people are devils. This is that organization there, this same organization there, which Malcolm X come out of. And they murdered Malcolm X. That's that same outfit there. He as well was jealous of Malcolm X. This one here, because Malcolm X was better than him. He was jealous of him. They're a rotten outfit, bro. These lot here. Farrakhan. They're a rotten, rotten outfit. Rotten. Rotten. Damn right there. None of them names are in the book. None of them at all. And his name's not Allah. His name is Yahuwah. He didn't give you his name, though, did he? Otherwise you'd be calling it. You're damn right you would. And he'd tell you how serious his name is as well.
Everyone is ditching their old printer for this, and here's why. No ink. That's the big one. You never buy another cartridge. Never deal with low ink warnings.
Really quickly, and I'm pretty much echoing what everyone else has said, but there are two differences that I want to repeat because I feel like there's a call to action in both of them. First is that the problem looks different than it did in the 60s. These when we talk about racism, we're talking about highly adaptive systems of social control that are based on the construct of race. And they look different. They evolve. They do not simply end. And so we tend to tell this story about the civil rights movement in this very naive way, thinking that, oh, well, Dr. King preached the I Have a Dream speech, and then it happened. Only it didn't. And so now the problem looks different. And so if you're waiting for people to bust out the hoods and the nooses and their pitchforks and their torches and to come to somebody's apartment building before you get active, you are waiting too long. It is happening. The institution of slavery still exists in this country. It never ended. People are still being lynched. Leadership is still being targeted in our communities. It's still happening. So you cannot wait for it to be overt like it was back then. Also, leadership looks different in this movement. We have a lot of decentralized movements, and that is a strength of our movement, I believe. And so if you're waiting for a Dr. King or a Malcolm X that you can jump behind, you're waiting too long. You're letting the moment pass you. We don't have Dr. Kings and Malcolm X's, and the leadership that we do have, looks different from them. Those charismatic leaders that we have, they're not walking around in suits and ties and trying to meet all of the checkpoints of respectability. They don't look that way. And you can't be looking for them. And mind you, even when we were wearing suits and ties, they were still lynching us.
Come on.
And so if you're waiting for those signs of the old world and the old civil rights movement, you're going to miss your moment. It's happening right now.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen. Right, so in today's episode, you're going to be reacting to a video of black scholars who are going to be delivering a powerful speech, right? They're going to be talking about racism and how over the years it has changed. In this episode, they're essentially going to be asking those who stay silent in times of racism and inequality why they do so. Staying silent means that you're complacent in whatever situation that is happening. And right now in America, we have gotten to a point where racism is very loud. We could blame it on the government that it is right now. We could blame it on the kind of president we have right now. But who holds the normal people, the normal civilians accountable? So let's listen to these black scholars as they deliver this powerful speech, and then we come back. Right, and we might not have Martin Luther King, we might not have Malcolm X, but there is a different kind of protest going on right now. There is a different kind of leadership going on right now. These are some of the points that these young scholars are going to be stressing across as they speak on today's forum, guys. So let's watch what we prepared for you today, and then you come back and talk about it. You can also consider leaving us a comment and subscribe if you're new to our channel. Let's watch.
Okay, well, let me start with why I feel called to not be silent on systemic racism. So I grew up in a very bicultural context. I'm originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I grew up in a black neighborhood but went to white schools. When I went to college out in Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, I saw a very deep need there to help the black students adjust to a very white world, because we were in central Pennsylvania where the KKK was live and active. And having grown up in Minnesota and went to white schools, I knew how to navigate white schools. But many of my friends were from Baltimore, Maryland, and all black counties, PG County, and it was a shock to them to be in this very white context. And so I started working with them to help them survive college. And at a certain point, I had a friend in my major. I was having lunch with him. He was a white male. And I said to him, why is it that you and I are in the same major, same program, same year, but you don't know any of my experience, and I know so much of your experience, and our worlds are so separate and so apart. And that really was the start of me working towards addressing racism on a massive scale. I actually designed a conference for my college. And then when I came out here to California and working at Fuller, God just started putting things in my lap in terms of opportunities to help Fuller as an institution address issues with racism. So now I'm in my role, I'm Director of Operations for the Pinnell Center for African American Church Studies. And this call to work with an institution is difficult and it's challenging, because you're not just working with individual people. You're looking at systems and saying, how are these systems actually making it more difficult for people to thrive, and for people to have equal opportunity in the classroom, people to have equal opportunity when they graduate. Even how do we as an institution cause systemic oppression within the larger Pasadena and Los Angeles community? So you're really looking at racism on a massive scale, and trying to carry a prophetic voice to challenge the institution to live out this gospel faithfully, because it is a Christian institution. So it's my call, so that's why I do it. That's why I don't stay silent. If I were to stay silent, I don't know what would happen to me.
If it doesn't work, we promise a 10-fold refund. These dentures fit perfectly in just 1 second and are suitable for everyone. Whether
when I
lot, now I'm drinking. And every little spot, I'm like an ocean, yeah. In the midst of an ocean that's sinking. Oh, you get me walking, yeah. Down the streets at night, talking. Till it's broad daylight, drinking. I'm like an ocean that's sinking. Lord knows. Since you left me and gone, I find it so hard to carry on. I worry, yeah.
Good morning. How you doing, guys? Hope everyone is good. Today is Friday the 3rd of July 2026. I just wanted to make a quick video, guys, because I'm a bit troubled, right? Because I'm hearing all this colour stuff, and I'm hearing all this racism stuff, and I'm hearing all this Hebrew stuff, and I'm hearing all this Gentile stuff, and it's just all confusing. So the scriptures has just come to me with this to explain to Hebrew children and explain to Gentile children what time it really is. Because everybody is a Gentile, yeah, apart from brown Hebrews. Brown children are the only ones who are not Gentiles. But anyway, I want to hear this, guys. We're going Ezra 1, book 1, Ezra, chapter 8, verse 69. Now listen to this. Marriage to a Gentile loses your birthright and inheritance. A nation of Yasharel, the princes, the priests, and the Levites, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, they are the ones who look out for them. And the Levites haven't put away for themselves the foreign Gentile people of the land, nor the uncleannesses of the Gentiles, the Canaanites, who are Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, and the whole West Bank, the Hittites, who are Turkey, the Perizzites, the West Bank of Israel, the Jebusites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Edomites, which is today's modern Israel. For both they and their sons have married with their daughters, and the Kodesh seed is mixed with the foreign Gentile people of the land. From the beginning of this matter, the rulers and the nobles have been partakers of this iniquity. And as soon as I heard these things, I tore my clothes and my Kodesh holy garment, and plucked the hairs from off my beard and my head, and sat down sad and full of heaviness. Ezra 1, chapter 8, verse 76. Ever since the time of our fathers, which ones? Our forefathers, we are in great sin, even to this day. So what he's saying here, guys, is as soon as he heard that you was partaking in giving your sons and mixing your Kodesh seed, he tore his clothes and plucked his head from his head and his beard, and sat down in heaviness and sadness, because you mix your seed. Now, when you go to Jubilees, chapter 30, verse 7, hear what it says here, guys. Verse 7. And if there is any man who wishes in Israel, Yasharel, to give his daughter or his sister to any man who is of the seeds of the Gentiles, he shall surely die. And they shall burn the woman with fire. For thus has it been ordained and written in the heavenly tablets regarding all the seed of Yasharel. So this thing is already ordained and written. Moses commanded the children of Yasharel, Israel, to exhort them not to give their daughters to the Gentiles, and not to take for their sons any of the daughters of the Gentiles, for this is abomination before Yahuwah. We will not give our daughter to a man who is uncircumcised, and it is a reproach to Israel, Yasharel, to those who live and to those who take part in daughters of the Gentiles. Damn, for this is unclean, an abomination to Israel, and Israel will not be free from this uncleanness if it has a wife, or the daughters of the Gentiles, or has given any of its daughters to a man who is of any of the Gentiles, for there will be plague upon plague, and curse upon curse, and every judgment and plague will curse, and plague and curse will come upon him if he does such a thing. And you don't want to tell us these things. And you don't want to tell us these things. You don't want to tell us these things. So you're not telling us who we are, and you're making them mix their seed and have mixed race and all that when it tells them this stuff in the book. You're terrible, bro. You're terrible. Just wanted to share that with you because this is confusing me, guys. Because the further he's showing me, the more deeper it gets, man. I don't see how you guys can't see these things as well unless you're taking it for a damn joke. You see how serious the people are in the book.
You get me thinking, yeah. Smoking a lot, eating and drinking. And every little spot, I'm like no shit, yeah. In the midst of an ocean that's sinking. Oh. You get me walking, yeah. Down the streets at night, talking. Till it's broad daylight, thinking. I'm not no shake, that's the same thing. Lord knows. Since you left me and gone, I find it so hard to carry on. I worry, yeah. I keep on worrying. I don't know what to do. Thinking a lot. I'm drinking. At every little spot, I'm like lost ship, yeah. In the middle of an ocean that's sinking. I don't know what to do. Since you left me and gone, now I find it so hard for me to carry on. I worry, worry, Lord, no. You have had me thinking, yeah. Smoking a lot, eating and drinking. Believe me, at every liquor spot, I'm like no shit, girl. In the middle like nothing but sinking. I don't know what to do yet. But on this pain, it's really true. I worry, worry, worry. You get me thinking, yeah. Smoking a lot, eating and drinking. At every liquor spot, I'm like no shit, yeah. In the midst of an ocean that's sinking. Boy. You get me walking, yeah. Down the streets at night, talking. Till it's broad daylight, drinking. I'm like no shit that's sinking. Lord knows. Since you let me and gone, I find it too hard to carry on. I worry, 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 yeah. I keep on worrying, worrying. I don't know what to do. Thinking a lot. I'm drinking. I'm worried. You get me thinking, yeah. Smoking a lot, eating and drinking. At every liquor spot, I'm like no shit, yeah. In the midst of an ocean that's sinking. Boy. You get me walking, yeah. Down the streets at night, talking. Till it's broad daylight, drinking. I'm like no shit that's sinking. Lord knows. Since you let me and gone, I find it too hard to carry on. I worry, 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 yeah. I keep on worrying, worrying. I don't know what to do. Thinking a lot. I'm drinking. At every liquor spot, I'm like no shit, yeah. In the middle of an ocean that's sinking. I don't know what to do. Since you let me gone, yeah. I find it so hard for me to carry on. I worry, 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 yeah. I'm worrying, Lord knows. You have had me thinking, yeah. Smoking a lot, eating and drinking. Believe me, at every liquor spot, I'm like no shit, girl. In the middle like nothing but sinking. I don't know what to do yet. But on this pain, it's really true. I worry, worry, worry. I'm worrying for you. Night today. Worry, worry, worry. The good Lord, I pray.
Get you over the line.
I enjoy that tune. I'll put you there. I'll put you there. You know, I just seen a nice tune there. What about this one? I just seen a nice tune there, innit? Come here. Come here. I just seen this tune. Come here. Nice little tune here. So come here. I don't know why about this now. I know, quick. I know. Take time down. What do you think this is? Smash and grab. This is smash and grab. D-boy. Come here. says we're not even allowed to intermingle, otherwise we'll be put to death, it says. Did you see it? You damn tramp. There's many ways to try and get the children not to get their inheritance and their birthright. Many ways, bro. But that's why Father has to guide you. How many times they tried to take the seed money, like, well, they did take it. Many times. Many. Father just went many times. They know what I'm talking about. Of course they know.
Whoa, oh, mercy, mercy me.
When Father says, this is my remnant, this is the remnant,
Oh,
you can't touch remnant, can you?
whoa, oh, mercy, mercy me.
And write it in the book. You think he's going to let anyone touch his remnant?
Whoa,
And intermingle them?
oh, mercy, mercy me.
He has to keep his lineage pure.
All things ain't what they used to be. No, no. Where did all the blue skies go? Poison is the wind that blows from the north and south and east. Whoa, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. No, no. Oil wasted on the oceans and upon our seas. Fish full of mercury. Oh, oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. No, no. Radiation underground and animals and birds who live are dying. Oh, mercy, mercy me. Mercy. All things ain't what they used to be. What about this overcrowded land? How much more abuse from man can she stand now? Oh, no, my sweet Lord, breathe. Mercy, mercy, mercy. All things ain't what they used now? Where did all the blue skies go? Poison is the wind that blows from the north and south and east. Whoa, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. No, no. Oil wasted on the oceans and upon our seas. Fish full of mercury. Oh, oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. No, no. Radiation underground and in the sky. Animals and birds who live nearby are dying. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. What about this overcrowded land? How much more abuse from men can she stand there? Oh, no, 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 my sweet Lord. houses, fish full of mercury. Oh, mercy, mercy. Oh, things ain't what they used to be. Radiation underground in the sky. Animals that hurt to live nearby. Oh, mercy, mercy. All things ain't what they used to be. What about this overcrowded? How much more will you from things can't you stand?
saw too many of you die. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Yeah, Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer, for only love can complicate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Oh, picket lines and picket signs. Don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, what's going on? Right now. Everybody thinks we're at oh, but who do they judge us? Simply cause our hair is long. Oh, you know you've got to bring some understanding here today. Oh, oh, oh. Pick it loud and pick it sound. Don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me so you can see what's going on. Yeah, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. Right on. Right on.
Came out here to California and working at Fuller, God just started putting things in my lap in terms of opportunities to help Fuller as an institution address issues with racism. So now I'm in my role, I'm Director of Operations for the Pinnell Center for African American Church Studies. And this call to work with an institution is difficult and it's challenging because you're not just working with individual people. You're looking at systems and saying, how are these systems actually making it more difficult for people to thrive and for people to have equal opportunity in the classroom, people to have equal opportunity when they graduate, or even how do we as an institution cause systemic oppression within the larger Pasadena and Los Angeles community. So you're really looking at racism on a massive scale and trying to carry a prophetic voice to challenge the institution to live out this gospel faithfully because it is a Christian institution. So it's my call, so that's why I do it. That's why I don't stay silent. If I were to stay silent, I don't know what would happen to me.
Pass it over.
Well, no, I didn't see it. So, still working. Fix. And this is, listen to the story she's good.
We live in a society today where people want to take, that violence that level of violence? What are they afraid of? Jane Elliott.
They're afraid that they're going to lose their so-called superiority. They're afraid that they're going to have to face the truth that they aren't white and they aren't superior and they are not the color of their skin because God made them white. They're going to have to. All of us came originally from a country, the continent of Africa, and our ancestors, if you trace your DNA back far enough, you'll find out that your ancestors looked like you. They didn't look like me, because their bodies produced a lot of melanin to protect their cells from the damaging rays of the sun. And here's what's going to solve this. As this climate change gets more and more extreme, and more sunlight is allowed to enter our environment.
You're right, Miss. That's what you're gonna realize. The sun. She's a good woman. And Jane, Jane's been around forever. Jane fights the fight. She's brilliant. Grandma Jane, brilliant. Absolutely.
The truth that they aren't white and they aren't superior and they are not the color of their skin because God made them white. They're going to have to face the fact that all of us came originally from a country on the continent of Africa, and our ancestors, if you trace your DNA back far enough, you'll find out that your ancestors looked like you. They didn't look like me, because their bodies produced a lot of melanin to protect their cells from the damaging rays of the sun. And here's what's going to solve this. As this climate change gets more and more extreme, and more sunlight is allowed to enter our environment, more and more people who are this color are going to encourage their children to marry people of your color so that their children, listen to me, so that they're...
We're not allowed to, I just read that to you. We're not allowed to marry. I told you that already. We're not allowed to marry us now. See, all these troops are coming out now, and now you need us again. No, man, not at all. I was just stay away from them. Look how they treat you the first time. Damn right, done. Not at all.
Gets more and more extreme, and more sunlight is allowed to enter our environment, more and more people who are this color are going to encourage their children to marry people of your color so that their children, listen to me, so that their children, their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren will survive in the future. People of this color...
I disagree with you, but this is how crazy it is. Miss Jane Elliott, I think they would shoot the sun out of the sky before they would have. I feel like they are this wedded to this ideal that they rather black out the sun.
See, I don't think they're that stupid.
Yes, ma'am, you've been living longer than me. You don't think they're that stupid? Look at where we are right now. They re-elected this person.
Wait. You have to remember that we elected Barack Obama twice.
Did we?
Yes, we did. And that can happen again, because it must happen again. We must convince people that this fool is not any whiter than any of the rest of the world. He's from Africa just like everybody else does. But he got from Africa and went to his ancestors went too far north, and they forgot everything that they had learned when they lived in Africa. He is a result of a group of people who forgot what they were taught. And now, in the last 20 years, we haven't been teaching it again. We have been teaching the wrong thing because we've got people out there banning books. I have been banned on colleges and universities all over the United States because what I say upsets the apple cart here. And I'm going to continue to say it until some fool gets up the courage to shoot me. And then you're going to have to, listen to me. Then you're going to have to celebrate then you're going to have to celebrate Jane Elliott Day once a year. How do you think these folks will feel about that? I am guaranteed to stay alive for as long as I have to. They're afraid to kill me because no power on earth can stop a man with a dream or an idea whose time has come. I don't know who said it, but they were right. The idea of one race and one color group, shades of brown, is an idea whose time has come. And you can deny it until hell freezes over, and it will still be the truth. You and I are 30th to 50th cousins. That's a fact.
I'm good with it. I've always, I've been trying to figure out how to dismantle it, but it seems like the pushback, because what I've assessed is that people haven't done a lot of work on themselves. So we are in a nation of people who are not fully formed, aren't fully developed emotionally and spiritually or mentally. And this is one thing that they can wrap themselves around, particularly in the United States of America, where it's predominantly people who identify white. And because of the self-segregation, they also have a very narrow view of everybody else. And this feels good to them. This feels good enough to them to get out in the streets and march and vote and do and harm people and do all of the things to preserve it. And that's something that's hard to fight against, Miss Jane Elliott. I feel like it's their made-up mind is hard to change.
But it has to change. We have to inform people that only 15 to 18%, 15 to 18% of the human beings on the face of the earth are classified as white. And it's a misclassification because we are not white. We have been in the minority always, and we are in a smaller and smaller minority. You need to realize that. The Father of Time is going to solve this whole problem. Because in a very short time now, people who look like me are going to see the advantage in looking like you. Because nature is going to kill them off if they don't. It's that simple.
Child, well, I thought that was going to happen in COVID, but it didn't. We're here with Jane Elliott. Jane Elliott is here. Oh, my God. There was a week when people were like, black people are immune. And I was like, finally. This makes sense. And then it flipped the opposite. I don't know what happened. Well, you know, we disproportionately are impacted by everything in this country.
Wait a minute. You were here first and you will be here last. You have to realize that. There are three simple things you have to know. Without blacks, there would be no whites. Those two words are absolutely ridiculous. Without people who look like you, there would be no people who look like me. Without women, there would be no men. And without Jews, there would be no Christians. And those are the three isms that we fight all day, every day. Racism, sexism, and anti-Semitism. It's ridiculous. Those three facts are facts. You can argue with them until you can skate across the surface of hell, but it won't work because those three things are true. Once we get those into our heads, then we're going to learn to appreciate one another as we are.
You know, a lot of people think racism survives because evil people wake up every morning and say, how can I hate somebody today? But Jane Elliott has spent decades arguing that it's actually much deeper than that. And honestly, the older I get, the more I think she might be onto something because ignorance doesn't always look like hatred. Sometimes it looks like comfort. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like saying, why are we still talking about race without even asking why race keeps showing up in the conversation? So guys, let's keenly listen to what she had to say. And as we watch, please subscribe, leave a comment, and then I'll be back with more commentary later. Thank you.
Well, I'm not holding my breath. I'm going to forge forward to build the world that I want to live in and wait for people to either die off or figure it out. But to your point, you know, we sit here today. You know, Jade Elliott, I was saying that you were able to get on this technology so much easier than some folk that I know have like a third of your age. And what I'm smiling about, though, your books are being banned. The books that you like to read are being banned. With the flip of a button now, they're going to erase whole histories. And because we are scrolling on things and not forced to all have to know the same things, and facts aren't facts anymore, and people doing research on YouTube, not actually reading or cracking open a whole, reading it, and then being in community with scholars, I fear that the next 20, 30 years, if we're not careful, will erase everything that you just said out of your mouth as fact, and it will be replaced by these people's quote-unquote facts.
But the way to solve that is refuse to allow them to ban books. When I was teaching, that was in the days of the communist scare, and a man came, and I was doing my student teaching, and a man came to the third grade in which I was doing my student teaching and said, we want to go through all the books in your third grade library and take out the ones that are communism, teach communism. Mrs. Hazel Grant said, go right ahead. So they put a whole bunch of books up on the top shelf of the library and said, now don't let the children sign up those books, and we'll come and get them. She said, thank you very much. And she ushered them to the door. She closed the door behind them and she said, now put those books back on the shelf and let's go to work. And that's exactly what we did. And that's what teachers have to do today. When the book banners come in, the teachers in that classroom, the educators have to say, show me your license to practice education. Show me your education that proves that you are capable of deciding who should or should not read which books. Show me that. Until you have a certificate that proves that you are capable of being an educator, do not come in here and tell me what to do with these books. And do not take one book off the shelf in this school building, because these are all owned by the taxpayers, and I will call the police and accuse you of having stolen public property. It's time for educators to get spines and say, fire me if you want to, but you're going to have a reason for firing me, and I'm going to give you a reason. I'm going to educate instead of indoctrinate. I'm going to teach my students how they behave when some fool comes in and tells them they're banning some books by somebody like Mark Twain, Alice Walker, Dostoevsky. I will not allow that. My children, my students have the right to learn what's in those books. And if you are afraid of what's in those books, your fear is your problem. Do not visit it upon my students.
That fortitude that we talked about in our first interview, where your dad was like, I don't know if you should be doing this, Jane. I don't know, but you were like, I'm going to do it anyway. You had parents coming to the school threatening your job. You had death threats. You had people threatening to kill you. You still do?
Oh, absolutely. I get letters all the time, emails all the time that tell me what's going to happen to me. And they use the B word. And for me, the B word is an acronym for being in total control, honey. So when somebody calls me the B word, that's what I do. I laugh and I say, you're out of control, aren't you, darling? But I am in control. You can't take my control away from me by using that word. As for me, that word means being in total control, honey. And I'm glad you realize that I'm in control. Then they stop using it. They have no other word.
Why do you think they're so angry? And why aren't there more Jane Elliott's? Why are you such an anomaly? Why aren't there more people, when they find the truth, say, hey, this is the truth. Let's get out there and tell the truth. Why aren't there more of you?
Most women, number one, can't afford to and are afraid to. We can't afford. Most of us are our own support. We can't afford to lose our job. I had a husband who was working, so if I had lost my job, I would not have gone hungry. Would have been not so happy, but I wouldn't have gone hungry. I could afford to stand up and say, no more. I'm not going to tolerate this. And I'm going to teach in such a way that my students don't tolerate this. And this past August, 10 of those students who were in the film The Eye of the Storm came back to Riceville, and we met in the school where we had done the exercise, and we sat down and discussed what we had learned in the ensuing 55 years. It was absolutely magic to see those 60 and 62-year-old people say, at this point, one of them said, you taught us the truth. You taught us to tell the truth. And I thought, if that's what I am remembered for, thank God for my father. Because he said, if you're going to lie, don't lie to me. So we were very careful not to lie to him. And he appreciated people. He told the truth. And with bib overalls, Louis Knowles wiped his eyes and said, I wish somebody taught me that when I was 9 years old. Yeah, and now when psychologists say that's a terrible thing to do to children, I say, my father said, at the age of 60, I wish somebody had taught me that when I was 9 years old. I wish me that when I was 9 years old, because I would have been a different kind of teacher and a different kind of student and a different kind of human being if I had learned at 9 what my third graders learned at 9.
But you somehow figured out how to teach a thing you didn't learn. The Eye of the Storm, PBS, you can go check it out, PBS series, Frontline, Jane Elliott, Riceville, Iowa, 99.9% white. But somehow you were able to bring forth this notion of what it looks like to be unfairly discriminatory towards people just because of how they came out of their mother's womb. And it was stunning. To this day, it's still stunning to see the reaction of the children and the transformation. So you learned something. You learned something, even if your dad didn't know, even if you didn't know. You learned something that I'm curious why more people aren't like you.
Because they don't have to be. and because they are rewarded for not being like me. If you want to be like me, that means you want to suffer. You want people to hate you. You want people to mistrust you. You want people to wonder how long you've been crazy. And that's what I've gone through for the last 55 years. And I say to myself, every time I get one of these hateful letters, I think, I wish I could put that person through the blue-eyed, brown-eyed exercise. Because if you go through it, you don't learn about it, you learn how it feels to be there. And that's what I want. We learn by doing. I want people to go through that experience so that they find out how it feels to be on the receiving end of that which we dish out to people of color in this country on a daily basis. I want them to feel it in their hearts and in their heads instead of just thinking about it. I want them to realize how it feels. Once they find out how it feels, they will not want that to happen to their children or their grandchildren or their great-grandchildren. They will want to change the situation so that nobody has to feel less than because of somebody else's ignorance about skin color. Skin color is not the problem. Self-imposed ignorance about skin color is the problem. And that is curable. You can cure your own racism. Get a book. Get the book. Oh my God. Get the book On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder. Get his book On Tyranny, and then get his book on Freedom. It's on the ceiling, on the shelf behind me. Get those two, but get On Tyranny first. It will only take you an hour to read it. There are 20 lessons that we have learned in this century that we could practice to make the next century better. Get the book On Tyranny and read it, and insist. And I buy 6 at a time. When I go to the bookstore, I buy 6 copies of On Tyranny, and I hand them out to people who come to my house. And I say, read this book. And they look at me like, oh, here we go again. And I'm thinking, no, here you came to see me. You came to listen to me. No, I'm going to give you something that you take with you in your hand, and you have to make a choice as to whether or not to read it. Now, if you decide not to read it, that says you don't give a damn. If you decide to read it, you're going to say, I'm going to buy this and give it to my kids and my nieces and nephews and my aunts and uncles. Everybody needs to read Timothy Snyder's On Tyranny and his On Freedom. People, it's a matter of self-educating. You don't have to be in high school or college. You don't have to be taught by somebody else. It is up to you to take on your own learning. Yes. And On Tyranny and On Freedom will make you a different kind of person.
I love it. Last time you were here, you recommended Nazis versus Gangsters versus Nazis, and I listened to it on Audible, and oh my God, you know, we had on recently Dr. Kelly, whose book is We Refuse, a book about resistance, but the Gangsters versus Nazis was inspiring. Kelly Carter Jackson was here this week. It was inspiring. Her book is inspiring, but that book was also inspiring because it shows what it looks like when people, you know, don't allow folk to come in and do whatever they want.
Right now we're seeing it, but you have to read this one. You have to read Erasing History by Jason Stanley. You have to read it, and you have to read it this week. Don't put it off until next week. Read it this week, because what it says is, until you've walked in somebody else's shoes, you don't realize what it is, what they're going through. And I read that and I thought, oh my God, the man has seen the film The Eye of the Storm, or he has seen the follow-up film in which we put adults through the blue-eyed, brown-eyed exercise. Everybody needs to take a look at it, Class Divided, because that's one that they used the first film of the Class Divided, The Eye of the Storm, and then we put a group of adults through the exercise and filmed that, and it is it's just wrenching when you realize that none of those blue-eyed people ever considered themselves less than until they were in that exercise.
Yes, yes.
And in this country, dark brown people don't get the chance to think of themselves as more than, because they go through the exercise on a daily basis. I want the exercise, the skin color exercise, stopped, and I want it to stop. Hey.
I know you do. Jane Elliott is here. Tell us about Daryl Elliott. Oh, he had the kind of man to marry you in all of this. Stay married? Lord, tell us.
He had no choice but to marry me, because the minute I saw him on a blind date, I saw those big brown eyes, and I had decided early on that I was going to marry somebody with big brown eyes, and there he stood. And he looked 5 years older than he was, and he was just fantastic. And I thought, you'll never date another woman as long as I live. And he never did. I got him, and I held on to him, and I cherished him, and I made his life better. And sometimes I made his life a lot harder, because it was hard for him to go to work and have people say, oh yeah, you're the one that's married to the N-word lover. And he'd have to say, better a lover than a hater, and then he'd go on with what he was doing. And that's what I figure. Yes, I'm an N-word lover. You got a problem? That's not my problem. Better a lover than a hater. I love that man. Let's talk about something else, or I'll turn into a soup sandwich here.
No, baby, that's important though. You know, we are a sum total of our relationships, and I think this is what I've settled on here, that we get to choose the family that we want to have, and I believe you get to create the world that you want to live in by those choices. And so we have to see one another in a certain kind of light. We have to see one another not as enemies. To your point, I'm absolutely in alignment. And the fact that you can still well up thinking about a man who made transition in 2013, like he hasn't been here for a while, but you were married to him for so many years. That bond allowed you to have the freedom to go out and do the things. It's important to have relationships. So I'm glad. Feel the feels, man. Feel the feels, because it's inspiring. It's the kind of love we all should have. It's the kind of love we all should have. Jane Elliott is here. Are you optimistic? Are you optimistic that this is going to...
Absolutely, because this fool, this T-Rump, is going to prove to all of us how dangerous it is to vote casually or to not vote at all. He is going to prove to us the value of democracy. He is going to make us aware that we do not want to live in a theocracy or an oligarchy. He has proven that to us in the last 3 weeks. He is going to cause such resistance to what he is doing that people are going to come out and vote that never would have voted before, and you are not going to be able to arrange the voting so that certain people can't vote. They're going to see what's happening, and they're going to put a stop to it. People are going to get very, very wise and very, very knowledgeable, because they're going to watch what's happening. When I was a kid, voting was, well, yeah, maybe so, maybe not. Wasn't important. Now, today, voting is the most important right you have. You, by the gods of war, had better vote, and you had better study so that you know what people are really planning on doing, and then vote for the people who are going to do the right thing. My dad would say, you know the difference between right and wrong. Do the right thing, Michael. Do the right thing. Vote, and vote for the right person, so that we will retain this democracy. You have no idea. I've been to Saudi Arabia. My daughter married a Saudi Arabian. I've been there. That's not the way I want to live. I've been to lots of places on the face of the earth, and I know that a democracy is how I want to live, and I want to live in this democracy. It's 250 years old. It's older than I am. It is the most valuable thing on the face of the earth. This United States of America democracy is the most valuable government on the face of the earth, and we must preserve it, and we must appreciate it, and we must see to it that nobody is allowed to destroy it.
Welcome back, guys. So, if you don't know Jane Elliott, she's famous for something called the blue eyes, or the brown eyes experiment. And what fascinated me wasn't that she lectured people. She didn't. She made people feel discrimination, and maybe that's the problem with education today. We teach facts, but we rarely teach empathy, because there's a huge difference between reading about injustice and experiencing it. Those are two completely different things, and that's why her work became so powerful, because once people felt unfairness, even for a few hours, suddenly the conversation became real. Now, one thing Jane Elliott said that really caught my attention was her statement that we all came from Africa, and scientifically, modern humans did originate in Africa. But what's actually interesting is how uncomfortable that simple fact makes some people. Why? Because for centuries, race wasn't just about skin color. It became tied to the idea of superiority, power, status, identity. And perhaps that's why these conversations become so emotional, because challenging racism sometimes feels like challenging people's entire worldview. Now, here's where things get interesting. John Eliot argues that whiteness itself isn't a biological category, it's a social invention, and history actually supports that. Just think about it. Irish people weren't considered fully white at one point. Neither were Italians, neither were Jews. These categories changed over time, which should tell us something. Race is much more complicated than many people realize, and honestly, that should humble all of us because human beings love putting each other in boxes. But reality is usually messier than our labels. Now, another thing she talked about was banning books. And man, history has never looked kindly on people afraid of books. Seriously, think about it. Authoritarian regimes don't fear weapons nearly as much as they fear ideas. Because ideas are dangerous. Ideas create questions, and questions create independent thinkers. And independent thinkers are very difficult to control. That's why every oppressive system eventually starts attacking education. Not because knowledge is dangerous, but because ignorance is useful. Now, I actually saw a comment online that somebody said if your belief can be destroyed by a book, maybe the book is not the problem. You know, it's a heavy statement because truth shouldn't be afraid of questions. Truth welcomes investigation. Truth welcomes scrutiny. Truth doesn't need censorship. Now, one thing I appreciated about Jane Elliott was her emphasis on democracy because democracy is messy, it's frustrating, it's slow. People disagree, people argue. Nobody gets exactly what they want. But history shows us something. Democracy is easier to destroy than to rebuild. And once it's gone, getting it back is not easy. Now, let's talk about white privilege. You know, let's be honest, those two words alone are enough to start World War III in the comment section. Some people hear white privilege and think they're being called racist, but that's not necessarily what people mean. The concept isn't saying white people don't struggle, of course they do. Life is hard for everybody. It's saying that race wasn't one of the things making life harder. That's a conversation worth having, not because guilt helps anybody. Guilt changes nothing. Understanding does. Empathy does. Awareness does. Now, here's the thing. None of this means black people are victims forever, and it doesn't mean white people are villains forever because life isn't a Marvel movie. Human beings are more complicated than heroes and villains. But history matters, and understanding history matters too because you can't solve problems you refuse to understand. And maybe that's what Jane Elliott has been trying to teach people all these years. Not guilt, not shame, not division, but awareness, empathy, and humanity. Because at the end of the day, every baby enters this world the same way. Nobody is born hating. Nobody is born believing they are superior. These ideas are all taught, which means they can also be unlearned. And perhaps that's the most hopeful thing about all of this, because if hatred can be taught, then understanding can be taught too. And maybe that's why Jane Elliott has spent her entire life trying to make people see each other differently. Not as enemies, not as races, but as human beings. And honestly, that's probably a lesson the world still needs. What do you think, guys? Has America made progress on race, or do we still have a long way to go? Let me know in the comments, and thank you very much for watching. Please, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so, because I'll be back with these type of conversations and you don't want to miss out. Thank you.
Just theater. Since you like war and not peace. I have no idea, but look at all these words. Look at all these words. What you going on? I have no idea. Leave me alone. No, not me. I'm a good boy. I'm not into all that. Leave me alone. There is no Jesus. Look at all this. I know. Everyone's out there. Darkness is coming. Get prepared. Look all these people. These are Christians now, innit? No. Now, let me tell you something. You guys need to get prepared. The black one did it. You need to get prepared. Because you don't even know the story, do you? You don't even know the story, do you? There's a righteous brother there. There he is. It's going to work because you love Yahuwah. My man's saved her. Alright, let's go for a bit of British murder. The British murder. The murder. The British murder. Yeah, I'm good. I got some minstrels as well, ain't I? I got some minstrels. I don't know, they're just getting silly over the picture, innit? They don't want people to know where all that troops coming from. Terrible, innit? I know. Really horrible to the people. I don't want the people them to know what's what. I make them feel good. You just want them to continue in that lie, that violent one.
Of human body parts have been discovered in public bins in London.
Look at this.
We got all sorts of games.
Let me ask you a question. Where do you get this idea of chopping them up? There's a lot of, you're doing a lot of chopping up. Is it Satan saying turn it up and like do gory things and all that? Is that what it is? You know you're a letdown, you know you're a little waste man, innit? You know you are, innit? You know you're a little, because all these people that you kill, they're going to come back again, you know that? Because that's just the flesh that you killed, especially if you avenged blood, you blood avenger, as Father calls you. These people are going to come back, but what's happened? They're going to torment your spirit now. I bet you're already tormented. I bet this is the reason why you don't like being on your own. Shut up, man. Damn it, here. I bet this is the reason why you don't like being on your own. Because I bet Father taunts you with that spirit. I bet. And I bet after you've done your blood drinking with Satan, and you've had your sex with animals just to please him, I bet you're alone after that. I bet you are. I bet you don't even like Satan no more. I bet it's just repetitive. You've got to keep doing that to please him. And the kids talk to you like shit, and you've got to run around for them. How does it feel to know that you sold out to the wrong children? How does it feel? But serve me right, because how could you think, right, that Father would have children that would be horrible to you? How could you think that? You think Father is a horrible man? No, he isn't, no. Well, obviously you must think he's horrible because his children are absolute poisonous. Absolute. And then you must think then that Father's like that because the children are like that. So no, it's the wrong Father. He's not even a father, he's a bloody tramp. Their father, if you can call it a bleeding father, is a little boy. And they treat you like poo-poo. Why? Because he's angry. Because he couldn't get us. So he had to settle for you. So he's not going to treat you nice, is he? Think about it. And he's on a time span, just like the flesh. He knows when the end of the earth is finished, he's gone as well. He knows that. And he knows his time's coming. He knows, because he knows what his father's like. We don't know, because we never spent time with him. We never got promoted. We never got 33% of magic of Father. If you'd have stayed a bit longer, you would have got more. I know. You'd have got more, little tramp. Right? But when he got the 33%, he thought that was enough, innit? You're just like these lot here. You're just like your children, though. You're just like your children. Right? But this time you've bitten off too much than you can chew on. And you better believe it as well, bro. Because you know your father's just dismantling you. You know that, innit? I mean, things have gone real wrong, especially when Father makes your barrister, which no one asked him to come up, by the way. Your barrister, who's supposed to represent his clients. But where things have gone tits up, you barrister, right? He's saying, look, lock up my client. So we're thinking, does his job depend on it? Or what sounds like it, because no one's ever seen that before in their life until they have to see, stop, it's gone wrong. Of course it's gone wrong. Of course it's gone wrong. Father made sure it's gone wrong. No one's ever seen a barrister, not seen this, a barrister stand up in courts several times demanding that you go to prison until the judge has to say, I'm the judge, not you, sit down. You idiot. This is Father exposing you and undoing you. And you've been doing this for decades to so many millions of people to keep that nonsense afloat. But people are switched on now. I know what they're doing. They're just stepping aside. They're not fighting you or getting, because you'd love that. Oh, let's get up and fight. Oh, you'd love that. I'll give you something to do. They're not doing that at all. They're just saying hi and bye. And you don't like that, do you? Because you want to have a fight and all that nonsense and get all your weapons that you stole from people and just have a fight because you like fighting, because that's what Satan told you to do. But when it comes to peace and being nice, that's your kryptonite. You can't handle it. And when it comes to joy, you just got to rip it up. You just can't do it because it reminds you of the disco and the prom. I hear a child saying, all right, and it reminds you of the prom where you couldn't get in. You couldn't have no fun, right? And it gets worse. You couldn't even be a politician. What about a policeman? What, like Wayne Cousins, spelt with a Z, serving policeman, when his stupid colleague says, I'm listening. When his stupid colleagues say, I'm listening. Tell me. When his stupid colleagues say, I'm going out to help the public. All right, rapist. Let's take it easy. Excuse me? Yeah, that's his nickname. That's what we call him, rapist. So you mean for telling us here, you are serving the public, and this is your colleague, and this is his nickname, what you call him, the rapist, and he's going out now to go and deal with the member of public. And you, as police colleagues, deal with the member of public. That is your job. That's your bread and butter. And you're letting the rapists go out there to deal with the public. Rasta, boys will be boys. Plotting and scheming to steal other people's toys. Children of Satan.
For all sorts of tricks.
It's coming home. Win all sorts of prizes this summer in our 2 million prize giveaway.
10 bags of human body parts have been discovered in public bins in London.
It's a very sick, disturbing thing for someone to do.
Metropolitan Police have launched a murder inquiry and believe there's a serial killer on the loose.
Dismembering people is not a clean business.
Forensics must act fast to find evidence of the killer at the crime scene.
Every killer leaves a trace. It's up to us to find that trace.
No, I looked up the meaning of minstrel and it means me. This means me. The meaning of it means me. The minstrel. It does. Someone who plays
While searching
music,
for food in
poetry,
waste bins,
spiritual,
a homeless man has discovered butchered body parts concealed in bin liners. The bin and the surrounding...
What up there? He said, one thing about you. I said, cool, and what now? He said, you never ask for money. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you never put your hat down and ask people for money. I said, no, that takes the sting out of it. Don't do that. You don't do that. I'm doing Father's work, you know? You know what I mean? When Father pays me, he just pays you everyone. Don't ask people for money. Then I'll be just like you and I. This is for love. This is not for money. And all that nonsense. You know what I mean? If you're going to give me money, give it to me secretly. You ain't going to tell the people, do it for money. Can you sign up with me and can sponsor me? No, not at all. It's as equal as saying, going to the church and then the church is asking you for money. Never seen that before in my life. And you think this is what churches do. No, it's not at all. No, it's not. And to give money is a sin. It's the same way as you saying Satan's children's behavior is what you believe Father would behave like, to think that these children are associated with the goodness of Yahuwah. It's an insult. It's an insult. An absolute insult. But it just goes to show where you guys are with feelings, emotion, love, and truthfulness. To think that them children there, and your sons as well, I mean, they're famous down for raping children, man. And that come out in 1984. I heard that in a dance, Sax of the Young Lion. MC called Nigger Jimmy. He goes, this wicked white nation famous for raping children. I'll never forget that line. And I was like, rah, did you hear that lyric? He said, yeah, man. I saw them doing to know. And they're just saying it like it's just casual. That's about 13 or 14. I'm thinking, rah, famous for raping children. That's how I'm a child myself. You mean, turn? Oh, yes. But them time my grandma would look out for you. And mum, look out for you them time there. Now? Most of them just turn their head to it though. And this is what Father's coming from. What about child sacrifice? What about burning the children? Why do you guys burn your children? I mean, hasn't it caught up with you yet? Huh? Hasn't it caught up with you yet? You guys are going to die. Excuse me. You're going to die in that sin, man. Because they say it's never been this bad. They say this is the worst it's ever been. Because Satan's going to die. His children are going to die. But he's going to let them have their little fun. He's going to let them have their little fun. And then when he cripples them, he's going to be asking him, was it worth it? And it's going to be forever. While we're out there having fun and doing Father's work, praising him, resting on the Sabbath day, letting the earth rest, and all that energy while the earth's resting will just go straight to the lake of fire and just continue to burn out, just be the fuel. Because on Sabbath day, everybody will be resting. Then the earth can rest as well and nurture herself. And then the next day now she'll be ready for us. Don't look up to the earth at all. That's Satan. Satan knows the earth speaks. Satan knows the earth's got a heartbeat. Satan knows the earth has children as well. Father's not going to create something that's not got no life in it at all. And he knows that, and that's why he treats it the way he treats it. Some woman in Bristol, no, it was about an army of them went swimming in that dirty water in Bristol, and what happened? They caught infection and disease. Serve you right, look. I mean, what woman is going to go in? I took a picture of it. They're in there swimming in that dirty water the other day, and then they caught disease and infection. About a good 13 or 14 of them. I mean, why would you go in that dirty water? Huh? Think about what I'm saying to you. And then you're in hospital now, real diarrhea, the shits and some other stuff happened to them. A real bad case of it. Some of them are sitting there now. But why would you go in dirty water? You're a joke, man.
Surrounding area are quickly cordoned off as a crime scene.
You don't think.
Do you want to build serious muscle using a safe,
like
tried and tested muscle building supplement?
Touch the carcass.
Something that won't give you any side effects and is 100% natural? Do you want guaranteed results without being scammed? You may have come across Nortein Heavyweight 2, a very strong muscle and strength builder. Nortein has been a bestseller since 1998, selling worldwide to millions of satisfied.
Sarah Thurkel has over 25 years' experience in crime scene investigation and is one of the UK's leading forensic trainers.
Searching a public bin outside a block of flats is a forensic nightmare. This is probably one of the worst forensically preserved crime scenes that you can have. Because of the location of the bins, the fact that they're outside, everyone's got access to them, and people are dumping rubbish in them.
London homicide detective Brian Hook was one of the first on the scene.
When a homicide happens, that golden hour is all important. If it goes wrong in that hour, it stays wrong.
Inside the bin bags, police discover a pair of human calf muscles and a female torso. CSIs meticulously search the bin and its contents for any clues as to what has happened.
Well, every single one of those bags has to be opened, and every single content has to be assessed.
As a crime scene coordinator, I'd be expected by an SIO to put forward hypotheses and decisions about future scenes that we might encounter. My understanding for this case is that the bins are the dump site. They're not going to be the main crime scene. The main crime scene is either going to be the area where the body's been cut up, but also potentially where the bodies have been murdered. Be on the list of items that I would put on my forensic strategy are things that potentially we would be looking for: saws, knives, all sorts of equipment, along with black bin bags.
Police make inquiries with the residents of the flats who use the communal bins.
Every crime scene's a challenge. The challenge here, there are hundreds and hundreds of flats. One of those flats could be our crime scene. Remember, it's vital that at the earliest opportunity we find where our victim was murdered and where the dismemberment took place, because there'll be a wealth of forensic evidence there.
Day 2, with no active leads to the killer and potentially more than one victim, the case is declared a Category A murder investigation.
There is a sudden increase of activity. The curve goes steeply up. All sorts of things are going on. We've got specialist search teams on the way. The inquiry team is making its way into homicide headquarters. The specific officers for house to house, CCTV, seized at the earliest opportunity.
Within hours, the search team make another horrific discovery. Less than 250 metres away from the first deposition site.
And it was in this area here, in Plender Street, that the specialist search officers actually found another bin line.
Right, let me push you up there. I've got the minstrels. Yeah, they're over there. Right, guys. How are you doing? It's been nice. I bet there's no one on that camera. I bet there is. I bet there is. I have no idea. Right, ready to chill out now? I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I know, thanks again, Papa. That money, again. Just had all at the right time. Look at that. I didn't have none at all. I know, especially. Oh, thank you, Papa. Now I'm just going to carry on with that. I've still got some more else ready to do. Still got more on that to do. And then I'm going to have to go back to do the temple as well. It's still there, it's still there. It's still there. I have no idea. Right, let's put this away. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everyone's doing good. What about you guys? You guys doing good? You guys doing good? Everyone's doing good. Right. I'm going to say bye-bye to you now. And then I'm going to chill out. Chill out, chill out. Tough.
No, that it also contained body parts.
Finding who these victims were is of paramount importance.
Yo, guys, let me ask you a question. You know, like, you've got all internet mad, crazy, and like your internet. Don't you still think you're lonely, though? Don't you think so? You guys, not me. I hate the whole talk about them. Talk about you guys, because they like to give you this false narrative that you got the internet, you got all your mates on there. It's a lie, man. It's an absolute lie. It's a foolish lie. Foolishness lie. One time it used to be good, but there's too many monsters on it, and people are not on the right level, bro, to even do friendship. They won't even be able to have a proper conversation with you without talking nonsense. Though it's true.
Your DNA profile will take 24 hours to 36 hours minimum.
The body parts are sent away for DNA analysis, and the pathologist confirms the detective's suspicions.
At this point, it was actually realised that we had more than one victim.
They have the torso of one female and the limbs from another. The Metropolitan Police have a serial killer on the loose.
The whole enormity of what had actually been found suddenly hits you. This is going to be a momentous investigation.
We got all sorts of games for all sorts of treacles.
It's coming home. Win all sorts of prizes this summer in our 2 million prize giveaway.
We got all sorts of games for all sorts of treacles.
It's coming home. Win all sorts of prizes this summer in our 2 million prize giveaway.
Fearing the killer may strike again, the detectives need to act fast.
Communal bins are everywhere around here.
Met Commander Andy Baker is brought in to oversee the investigation, and dozens more officers are called in to expedite the house-to-house inquiries.
The house-to-house was extensive. On the face of it, a fairly mundane job, knocking on doors. Knowing what we know, though, it's quite scary to think that there's body parts found less than 20 yards away from where you live. But at the same time, you have to find out who lives there, making sure that you're checking that with what records show, so they don't leave a person off who could be a suspect.
Many of the residents suggest a man from the estate the detectives should speak to.
It's obvious from the house-to-house inquiries that a lot of the neighbours and people that live on the estate have misgivings about one of the residents and his attitudes and sometimes his behaviour.
The police now have a person of interest on their radar, and the digital forensic team has an update regarding the CCTV.
They had an image of a man in a long dark coat wearing a baseball cap with a New York Yankees logo on it, opening the bin in Plender Street where body parts have been found, and actually depositing a bin liner.
Was someone from the local flats had taken the bin bags out from his flat and dumped them in the bins outside.
The man is identified as local resident Anthony Hardy, the person brought to the officer's attention during the house-to-house inquiries.
We now have somebody that we can look at far, far closer.
Police pinpoint Hardy's flat on the estate. He lives in between both deposition sites.
This is the back of the block where Hardy's flat is, which gives him easy access to these bins. When somebody becomes a person of interest and is edging towards being a suspect, the intelligence unit on the homicide team would do full background on them.
Records reveal that just 11 months ago, police were called to Anthony Hardy's flat after a neighbour had accused him of criminal damage. While searching Hardy's flat, officers made a disturbing discovery.
There was a bed up against one wall, and lying on the bed is the dead, naked body of a female.
The woman was identified as 38-year-old Sally Rose White. Anthony Hardy was arrested on suspicion of murder.
After the post-mortem, the Home Office pathologist gives a cause of death of natural causes. The victim had underlying health problems and health issues, one of which was heart problems. Once a pathologist says natural causes, it virtually closes down that as a murder investigation. That was brought to our attention, and so was the occupier.
The police believe that this is more than a coincidence, and they must urgently apprehend Hardy.
Team is assembled, they go to the premises, and the door is actually open, it's not locked. It had that mortuary smell. It's something that once you've experienced, you always recognise.
Human body parts from 2 unknown victims have been discovered in public bins on a North London housing estate. Police have identified a suspect, 51-year-old Anthony Hardy. A specialist team has gathered out of sight of Hardy's ground floor flat. They are ready to force entry and arrest him on suspicion of 2 murders.
What we have is a man that not 11 months previously had a dead body in the flat, not 150 yards away from this scene where we found dismembered body parts.
For evidential purposes, an officer records the events.
They opened the door and they're greeted with a corridor. There are drawings and paintings on the floor and on the hallway walls. Can only be described as bizarre. And it's fairly obvious at this point, Mr. Hardy is not there, but there is a distinctive odour within the premises.
Are you still buying heavy and expensive lawnmowers in the AI era? In just 3 minutes, you can quickly clear 100 square meters of weeds. In a single morning, you can finish a whole week's worth of gardening. One person can do the work of 5, and you no longer have to wait 6 months for expensive professional labor. Since I bought this portable cordless mower recommended by the German Gardening Engineering Lab, weeding has become the easiest part of my day. It includes free shipping, costs only $70, and comes with 10 years of free after-sales service. This 2026 model meets international industrial power standards, featuring an 1,800-watt high-performance pure copper motor with speeds up to 6,000 RPM. Renowned mechanical engineering experts in New York note that this high speed, combined with constant torque technology, means whether you're trimming the lawn, pruning branches, or harvesting crops, you never have to go over the same spot twice. You can finish an entire soccer field in just half an hour. Thanks to its lightweight design, the entire unit weighs only a few kilograms. It's specially recommended by the Ergonomic Health Association, easy to operate with one hand, making it effortless for...
As you go right into the sitting room, you're greeted with the dining room table. There are actually 3 televisions connected to 3 VHS video recorders. And on the table are multitudes of VHS cassettes. There was stacks and stacks and stacks of videos, sadomasochistic, violent, hardcore porn. I remember seeing a...
Children are saying, look at it, man, this is a Satan house, look at that. What's wrong with you children, man? Why have you given your soul to Lucy? Why? Don't silly children, why? Because you thought there wasn't a Yahuwah, didn't you? I know they tricked you, I know. Well, untrick it then and unlearn it. Because they'll still take you back home because they haven't come out the sky yet. So you still got time, beautiful people. Get away from the Satan people. Get away from them. And come back home. Your daddy wants you. He's got a job for you guys. He's got a nice job here. He's got to learn to be obedient and go back to being loving. And go back to listening to your grandparents and your parents. Then welcome to you. I start having a king without an emperor. I know we're living it now. I thought the empress, we're living it now. What? You got a king with no emperor, no empress. We got a king with no emperor and no empress, and he's got cancer. I know.
Some stacks of videos, sadomasochistic, violent.
Look at all the Satan stuff in like that. I've never seen a Satan room before. Look at the Satan room. Look at it. This Satan. Look, he's praising Satan properly. Look at him. Look at him. His room's nothing like that. Don't even try it, Dan. You Satan try him. Don't even try it. You've got bare bad spirits in there, and your little carved images of Satan. I got about 150 spirits in there, bro. I don't need no carved image. Everything carved in there is the lion, the Tiggy, Levi. Boy.
Hardcore porn, artistic, violent, hardcore porn, sadomasochistic, violent, hardcore porn. I remember seeing a red devil's mask on the wall opposite.
Nasty.
Gave you that kind of shudder when you looked at it.
There is a distinctive smell coming from the bedroom.
The door to the bedroom is opened. Not only does the odour get stronger, but on the floor next to the bed there's an object covered by a black local authority bin liner.
It's a body in a gut. It's a joke, man.
And lying on top is a hacksaw and a number of knives laid neatly, almost halter-like.
I know you do. I know you do. And we love you for it. I know you do. I know you do. You certainly do. Don't like I seen it, do you? I know you don't. I know. You keep us away from all that. I know you do. They're kind of doing it proudly, like it's some honour. You see the way you put the knives? I've seen it. Like it's some honour. That's Satan trying to take the piss out of Father. But what they're not realising is this. Remember, every murder, remember, every murder that Satan commits gets the nod from Father. I bet you didn't know that, did you? Who do you think's speaking it all to do it? Who do you think? It's a game, guys. It's a game. It's a game. And Yahuwah is in control. It's his game. It's his. Remember, we only met because he put us here. He scattered us here. He. And it's he that's revealing little by little the information of who people are and what the world consists of and who Jesus and he really is. Because everywhere you go, you're hearing it from all different children. And this is Papa doing it. He wants to be known now. He's come out of his holy inhabitants. He's come out now. It's his dance. When he says, you will know who Yahuwah is. No longer will you be saying, who's Yahuwah? Yahuwah who? No longer will you be saying that. You'll be saying Yahuwah, Elohim of Yasharel. Those are his words. And the children remember it like nursery rhyme. Remember his words like nursery to the letter. Don't add to it or take from it. Just say it as it is. Coming on a dreamer, right? Telling dreams. Prophesizing dreams. What about Pinocchio? Oh no, Pinocchio. Looking for high priests. Right? Sons who have weaknesses like every man. So it's for everyone, not just for certain. No, that's just a different journey. That's the drivers. Those are drivers. He's looking for children that need to be driven in a land of beauty, in a land of no worry, in a land of how it's meant to be. And we only understand what we're shown, and we get shown by him. And then you get shown by us. But if you've got anything else you contribute and it's good, it comes in. And that's how this thing goes around. Well, it doesn't go around, but it goes to corner then. See, they don't have you thinking of nothing or loving nothing, man. It's a joke world, man. It's an idiot thing done. Run by these idiot sons and stolen goods. You think the world can be running around in fear and stolen stuff and bandits and thieves running around, you know, stealing but telling people that they can't steal, but it's all right for them to steal and take what they want, but then they're telling you can't steal and do anything. It's a joke, man. And the farmers come to smash you up, man. Trying to take people like they're idiots. Who the hell are you? You damn Trump. You was in the cave a couple of days ago. Because one day's 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day, you tramp. Again, you was in the flipping cave a couple of days ago. You damn tramp. My father's come to put you back in the cave if you ain't going to go and change and do it his way. Because you ain't got no way to do anything. Clue is rob and steal, and that's not a way to live. Because that just damages the earth, hurts people, and then puts you in father's detention book. Because you're going to be in detention. Watch. Damn tramp. And you're going to have to do the whole course. Yes, no, miss. You're going to have to do the whole course, miss. You'll stay there, you damn tramp. Yeah.
Almost halter-like.
Excuse me.
Unfortunately, underneath there, what we discover is the torso of a female.
The police now have 2 torsos, but there is still no sign of their prime suspect.
Hardy's not there. Where are we most likely to find him? We are now...
Make you pay for all the things that you have done on this land, Mr. Wicked Man. Yes, gonna find you and make you pay. You damn right. Anything you do and anything you say, you know Yah is watching you, ready or not. When you come, you can't run, Mr. Wicked Man. Oh, Yah's gonna find you and make you pay for all the things that you have done on this land, Mr. Wicked Man. No! Christopher Columbus, Marco Polo, Francis Drake, yes, Your Honor, you have been charged for telling lies on black people, right? For stealing black people wealth, right? And mashed up black people health. How you please? Your Honor, guilty. Yeah. Christopher Columbus, come here. Come in, Your Honor. You have been charged, right? For telling fibs and telling porkies and telling people say you discover land when there was people already there. How do you play? Guilty with the explanation. No explanation. Guilty and not guilty. Guilty and not. Wait. Silence in the court. The dread is coming, right? And that is the late great Peter Tosh. That's his song. The dread is coming. Bad tune. Silence in the court. The dread is coming. Christopher Columbus. The dread is Marco Polo. Weird.
Dealing with the manhunt.
The flat is secured as a crime scene, and harvesting forensic evidence becomes the priority.
God bless. We love you. See you later.
All sorts of games.
Anything you do